United we stand, divided we fall. United. The country is not Republican or Democrat. The country is the American people that send to Congress two different political parties to represent what we care about. But the public is not Republican or Democrat. Republican are politicians. Is it encouraging to watch a divided Congress? No. A divided Congress represents gridlock. It's going to be tough and rough for the country because sometimes people refuse to compromise with you. Many have gone through divorce. Some of you. I've witnessed many divorces. It's not beautiful. It's not a pretty picture. It is brutal. Do you think the country is any different? One trying to kill the other, one trying to stop the other, one trying to hinder the other. A house divided against itself cannot stand. The enemies look and they laugh. They love to see a divided country. Russia, China, Canada, France, Egypt, Iran, Syria. They love to watch in glee, to watch the brothers kill each other or the husband and wife fight with each other. It's horrible. There's no unity. And whatever side you're on really makes no difference. The children watch in horror as their parents fight. They love both. In many cases, the children don't know who's right or wrong. They're children. They don't understand the adult issues. They emotionally may pick one parent over the other with their limited knowledge and understanding as a child. So many Americans don't have the time to be consumed with understanding everything about politics. It's too much. They're just trying to take care of their own life and their family. Just trying to live from paycheck to paycheck. They don't have the energy, mentally or spiritually or physically. So they elect people who say that they're smarter and they know and they understand. And what do? They go and just fight with each other. And protect their seat of power. Because they are elected officials. You cannot fire them. They use your vote to get elected. Then you can't boot them out for years. And then they figure out a way to stay in that position. It's nice knowing you can go to work and scream and holler and not be fired. They do it all the time. And you cannot kick out your wife, can you? Or your husband. You've got a marriage. It takes a lot more to kick out a wife or husband than it does a boyfriend or a girlfriend, doesn't it? Can't kick out a roommate if his name is on the lease, but you can kick out a friend who just came by with such ease. God hates divorce. God hates a divided house. Whether it's in your friendship or your marriage or your parenting or your job or your community. And what does he hate more than that? It's when we divorce ourselves of him. How do we divorce ourselves of him? When we do not seek his wisdom or his advice, when we don't obey his words, when we go against what he tells us to do, when we cheat on him with something else, someone else, in whatever form it comes. Sometimes it's flat out rebellion. When we don't listen to reason or common sense, when our emotions and feelings tell us what to do, rather than truth, reason, and logic. We divorce ourselves of God. And like in a rainstorm, he's our covering. Psalm 91, he's the umbrella over us. We decide to put down the umbrella and not be protected from the rain of sin and the rain of self and pride and ego. And we love getting wet in the rain when God wants you protected from it. We have to stay covered. Stay covered. Let's not divorce ourselves of God. No one likes being treated unfairly. And yet your own family will treat you unfairly. Men get married, and a few years later, they're fighting like cats and dogs with the one they said, I will and I do too. You bring children into the world, and a few years later, they're cursing you, putting you last. Children are abused by their own parents. Is it a wonder that we fight in Congress? Is it a wonder that we fight with City Hall or we fight with a neighbor? We even fight with the people that are the closest to us, or they fight with us. Is it surprising that people in power and authority do not listen or hear us? We don't even listen and hear each other. We have the hardest time being wrong just so that we would be at peace. We have to be right at all costs. We'll destroy a relationship just so that we can be right. And we don't think about the repercussions of it. We don't care. Pride and ego. So when I hear about Israel and Gaza, the Ukraine and Russia, I think, how is it any different? Why would I expect that to be resolved? I see people in their own homes. They can't come together and have a meal together. They can't even talk to each other sensibly or with love or affection. They don't even listen to each other. They can't sit down and negotiate amongst themselves to solve a problem without fighting. And those are the ones that you marry, or your parents, or your children, your brother, or your sister. Is it a wonder that you're surprised about what corporations do and governments and politicians do? You see how difficult it is? Of course you do. Because you're going through the same thing with the people that are closer to you than a politician. So truly, surely you understand when you hear the news, what's going on in the world around you. Because you have it going on in your own life. You can't get through to them. No wonder they don't sign the peace deal. No wonder they don't come together and reason, make a deal, compromise, for the sake of peace for the sake of each other, for the sake of the neighbor, for the sake of the company, for the sake of the children, for the sake of the parents, why don't we just stop fighting? Can't we all get along? Not when pride is involved. You've got to be humble. Humility. Be humble. Be humble. Then you can make a good deal.